In the dark of night we prepared our fleet. I had become the greatest naval commander of my time, and we were the mightiest force the seas had ever seen, and it was going to be an unforgettable battle. We descended upon the mainland, and the battle raged on for hours. Warriors fell from both sides, but no one expected the outcome. The game is called Highborn. It's based off of multiple animes such as One Piece, Full Metal Alchemist, and many more. Now the game takes a lot of inspiration from my personal favorite game to ever release on Roblox, Arcane Adventures. So if you guys are interested in the game, link to it and multiple really awesome other games in my Discord.
Hello there.
So you start off with customization and these weird people dancing in the background, but there is a lot of options for you to choose from in Highborn, and I think I ended up making my guy look pretty cool. Now I just so happened to be the race demon, and this I couldn't change. Now I wasn't sure what type of buffs or perks that this race gave me, but I was excited to find out. So I spawn in on this snowy island. So the first person I see is this resident named Mary, and basically what they say is that they lost their backpack. Now it gives me a quick glimpse of where it actually is, and then I was supposed to go look for it. Seemed simple enough. I was gonna get this task done. Now I searched for a little bit, and then eventually I noticed this church. Now this looked like where it was. Now it wasn't just the backpack that was in here, there was actually a chest in here as well. So I opened up the chest, and would you believe it, I got some money and I got an item on my first try. Now this game has hundreds of items in it, and you can get them from chests, bosses, and other things, but unfortunately for me the item I got looked completely ridiculous, so yeah, I was not wearing that. Well anyway, I still was able to find her backpack. Now it was just a walk and a skip away to go back to her, and I was able to return it. Now she rewarded me handsomely, so I had a decent amount of money, but you know, I had to talk to the mayor because I was still kind of confused as to what I was supposed to be doing here. So he says, you're new in town. He says that he has a special job for me, and then basically what he wanted me to do was help out everyone around the town. Now I noticed there was a blacksmith. Now so I'll explain the complex economy of Highborn. So every island has their own shops with a constantly renewing stock and items that they sell. Now this particular blacksmith was selling me katanas and rapiers. Now of course, being the weeb I am, I decided to buy a katana, and yeah, I decided to equip it, and it looked very cool. Very good use of my money. So at this point it was time to go find the next person that was gonna help. So our next resident tells us to go find a guitar player for her wedding. Now this would be all fine and dandy if the guitar player wasn't literally 2 centimeters away from her. Like, are you kidding me? This is not exactly what I had in mind when I set out to be the greatest naval commander of all time. Well anyway, I completed the mission, went back to her, and that was about it for that quest. So at this point I had sufficiently proven myself to everyone around the town, and the mayor acknowledged that. So because of it, he entrusted me to some trade deals, and I had to go to different islands to see them through. But before I could do anything like that, I needed 2 things. I needed a boat and a crew. Well, I enlisted a few people, and I was able to get myself a sailboat. Now it was pretty cheap, but it was amazing to me. I was finally able to begin my true naval adventure. So me and the few buddies I had, we got on and we took the merchandise from the main island to this little raft that was right in front of us. Now it was very important because there is someone over there where you could bring the chest that we had, and basically if you had the money for it, he would open up your chest and you could get items or money for a net profit. So this was a really cool system in which you could bring items from a different, like all around the world, and then you'd be able to unlock it with this guy and have the chance of getting something good. So this was important to know. Now also there was a ship seller on this little raft, so we knew that when we wanted to upgrade our ships, this would be where we wanted to go. Now we were heading over to our objective. Now this is where the man Miguel cell was gonna be in. Now he was important because he was what was gonna start trade with the other island. Now we didn't exactly know where he was, but it just took a bit of looking, and I did have experienced players on my crew, so they were able to lead me to him, and he was hidden away at the back of a statue. So once we got there, basically we just talked to him, and then that was that. Now some of us stayed behind, but I wanted to travel to another island where we could find greater treasures. So it was really this just big rock landmass, and we knew that there would be lots of secrets there, and maybe I'd finally be able to use my katana or even obtain some of the magic staffs or books. So we make it to the island, and then we find this little rock cave where there was a chest inside, but more importantly there was a man named Jorn. Now he says we need to learn the dwarven language. Now we didn't really understand that at the time, but eventually when we made it outside of the cave, we found out that there was a bunch of parkour that we could be doing, and it was going to lead us eventually to somewhere where there was just a bunch of chests everywhere. So yeah, we got a lot of items out of this. There was just chest upon chest upon chest, and most importantly I got my most prized possession, my straw hat. Yes, you heard that right, call me Straw Hat Shiver. Now we were done up here, so we jumped down and we see this interesting book, and I was the first person to click it, so I got it, and basically it was called the Book of Dwarven Language. That's what we needed. So when we were sailing away, after just making it a few paces out, it was evident that we had been betrayed. Now this item must have had some real value for my own crewmates to have betrayed me. We moved strategically as they boarded our ship. Now these people had better armor, better weapons, and even stuff that I've never even seen in the game up until this point, such as magic. So it was going to be a real hard battle. Now they had this fire magic which created deadly explosions and did horrible devastating damage to our ship. Now I still only had my little katana, which really did not do much to penetrate their armor, but I was still able to hold my own, kind of. Now I found out that my race demon gives me a lot more health than the average person, so that was really what was carrying me in this situation. But I was still getting flung every which way off of my ship until it was eventually destroyed. Yes, their magic was so powerful that our ship capsized and was sent to the bottom of the ocean. But that had not mean that we lost. We could take theirs, but we'd have to defeat them first. So that's what we attempted to do. We tried to get on, but the battle that ensued, it was really clear that with our inferior numbers, there was no way that we were going to beat them with their magic, with their staffs, and with their superior equipment. I was able to somehow sneak away from the fight, and when I did that, I got far enough out to sea that I was able to spawn my ship, get on, and make it to the closest island. Now, the book had led us here to this mysterious island, but more specifically, this thing called the Emerald Chest. Now, this was the rarest chest in the game and was almost impossible to find, so that was why everyone was after it. Now, I didn't know the rewards that you would get from it, but if it meant that people were willing to go to war with us over it, then it had to have been good. So, now we decided to take it on our ship and immediately go over to the raft so we would be able to open it and check out its contents. Now, before we did any of this, we made sure that there was no one scouting out around the island so we didn't immediately get jumped and lose it again. But now it was time to reap the benefits of our hard work. So we carry the chest to Sunny and he opens it up. And this chest literally gave me everything the world had to offer. Call me Gold D. Roger, because this was literally everything I needed to build my fleet in one chest. This is where I got my signature armor and the staple of my entire fleet. I also got my main weapon, the Ghost Cutlass, with abilities so powerful that you can literally take on people in a 4v1 and win. But the most important thing that I got was the fire spell booklet. Now I could actually compete with the people that had the lightning, fire, and other powers that I couldn't even comprehend. With the money from the emerald chest, we were all able to upgrade our ships. Those still loyal to me were known as the Shiver Grand Fleet. We sailed into the distance, ready to take our revenge and take back the land that we are rightfully owned. The battle was about to begin. The war had just started. We start at the docks and we slowly make our way inland. Now I disrupt their lines with my ghost cutlass, but other people also have the same weapons or even better than me, so it wasn't gonna be an easy fight. Now, I start attacking everyone that I could, knowing that I was probably the tankiest person there just because of my race. But apart from that, I still wasn't doing that much damage. That's the downside of my overall build. So what I tried to do was try and support more than actually do damage. Call me the tank if you will. Now, at this point, everyone was just spamming their magic abilities. Now, I didn't really have a correct build for my magic, so I was just relying on my sword, and that was working decently as well. Now, I wasn't blocking at all, which I probably should have been, but I was still able not to die or to even get below half health for the majority of the battle. Now, in addition to this, when you're playing in a highborn, there's also a good chance of you running out of stamina. Your stamina bar is very important, and I also believe that being a demon gave me a lot more stamina than most people, but my magic wasn't doing anything. So I was midway through, I switched to a more magic oriented build, I changed my armor, and I started using more of the fire attacks, trying to avoid friendly fire as much as possible. Now that said, it was pretty clear that it was a 50-50 split at this point. We weren't losing, but we also weren't winning. So eventually, as people were getting knocked and people were getting carried away that were knocked, people were getting flung everywhere, we came to the conclusion that there was only one way to end this, and that was peace. We realized that we were all testers of the game, therefore we were 100 times better than everyone else, and that we would just wait until the game actually released to bully all the fresh spawns that didn't have the OP items that we did. But that will actually be it for the story of Naval Commander ShiverAway. But only for this episode. If you think that that's all the content this game has to offer, trust me, you are dead wrong. So let me know if you want to see more of the game. I'll see you guys in the next one.
I can persevere, go forward on my own. There's a bright and shining pure light coming through the darkness of the night. Now I can't help crying for my life.